Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's Watches, and you're joining me on an incredibly hot summer's day here in the UK. And for those of you in the UK or have been to the UK in summer, we don't particularly get the most crazy temperatures, but what we do have is ridiculous humidity, so it's very hot and sticky. So I apologise for looking probably very red and sweaty. I do apologise. But you're here to see the watches, and today we have 9 of the 12 watches on the table today. There was 12 in this week's drop. 3 have sold before they could get to the website. That includes a beautiful 2010s Bell 1911. I'll try and remember to put a photo on screen, but they are also linked in the description where you can still see all the photos, description, all things like that. A beautiful 1968 Grand Seiko High Beat and a 1953 Waltham Deluxe, a very, very gorgeous watch, all original, down to the crown. You have to excuse the noise of Clerkenwell Road. Now, as always, if you're here just to see a specific watch on the table, let's say this gorgeous starry dial Amiga SE Master, you can do so via the description. You'll see every single watch listed, including the 3 we've just discussed that have sold. You'll be able to click on the timestamp that's next to it, other than the 3 that have sold, obviously. It'll take you straight to that watch, and you can head over to the website via the link as well. See all the details, photos, additional photos under points of mention, the price if it's still available for sale, and once it has sold, it does say sold and the price is no longer visible. The reason for this, just for complete transparency, is prices change, and we have, again, you have to apologise, the noise, windows open, aircon's on, I need it in this heat, but we have a lot of people, a few people sometimes, when we used to have prices still listed on the sold ones, would use that as a basis to try and sell as their watch, which in some cases is completely fine, but in some cases that watch we sold 4 years ago and the market has changed, or even during COVID, and they think we're going to achieve that price, or sometimes our list price isn't what we actually sell it for. As a lot of you know, we negotiate. A lot of people part X watches. It's not a straight cut as sometimes seeing that price. Even when it is bought off the website, there's transaction fees involved, PayPal fees if you use PayPal. So the actual money we get in the bank is not what you see on the listing, and then take off margin scheme VAT, which is the VAT we pay on the profit we make, and so on and so on. I could bore you all day with how it actually works, and I won't do that. But anyway, you get the point. So that's why we don't have the prices listed there. Now, before we crack on with the 9 watches on the table, for those of you who are enjoying the update every week, thank you again for all of the well wishes and everything going on. We're still in the same position currently as we speak. For those of you that don't know and haven't seen the past updates, my wife is currently in slow labour. It has been nearly 4 weeks now, my poor wife. This can happen. It means we could basically have our baby boy anytime now, or we could wait until our induction, which is the 23rd of August. I do have a 2-year-old daughter who's in nursery on the days I'm in office, which is only 3 days a week at the moment, so obviously I can be home with my wife and daughter and just make sure everything goes okay, and I'm there in case anything happens. I don't live in London like a lot of people think. I live out in Essex, so it's not a quick journey into the office. So I'm doing everything I can in 3 days, with 2 days being appointments, 1 day being this kind of stuff, although I have done 2 appointments today to fit you guys in where I can. So I appreciate the understanding and patience during this time, and I'll keep you updated as and when things happen, probably on social media, and or when our son is born, there will probably be a couple of weeks where there's no drop video unless I'm able to work some magic and make it happen, but there will probably be a no drop video, but hopefully still drops, so hopefully that answers all the questions. Alright, what's on wrist? I'm wearing something that we just bought in as stock the other day, and it needs a new strap, a polish and a new battery. It's running completely fine, but as always, whenever we buy quartz watches, for those of you that are interested, we always do a fresh battery regardless, just to make sure it's got a fresh battery, obviously. And also to check the movement, check everything's working okay. This is a 1990s Cartier Cougar 18 karat gold with the larger 33mm case. A really, really cool watch. And it will be available hopefully in a couple of weeks once everything's all done and ready. So if you're interested in this, shoot me an email. I have a fair few people interested just based on a little sneak peek photo I did a little while ago. So yeah, really cool piece, absolutely loving it on wrist at the moment. But yeah, let's crack on with what you're here to see, and that is the watches on the table. We're going to start with 3 Fears. I have not bought the Fears collection, I promise, but we certainly have a lot of Fears at the moment. This is a really cool Fears Brunswick Jubilee edition in the royal purple. They only made this during the Jubilee, which was 2022, and when the Queen unfortunately passed away, he stopped the production of any further models on that point, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's check this one out. Now, to start this week off with a beautiful Fears Brunswick 38mm. This is the Jubilee edition in the Jubilee purple colour, as you can see. Absolutely incredible. This is a reference BS23800A, and this specific model is from November 2022 with its box paperwork, and it comes on the Fizz bracelet, as you can see, which has a very, very nice deployant right there with a beautiful pattern inside, the Bristol flowers I believe they're called. And as we flip it over, you can see a nice decorated case back right there, proudly stating everything, and inside is a manually wound ETA caliber 7001, which is a workhorse movement used by many brands and has been for many years. You can see this dial is incredibly dynamic, and in certain lights those numerals just vanish because they're black diamond polished, I believe it's called. More details obviously can be found on our website as well as theirs, but when you get certain lights they just vanish, and then when you get others they pop incredibly bright, just like the dial. Really, really dynamic, really beautiful, and very well executed, as you'd expect from Fizz. Non-screw down onion style crown with these ones. The 40mm automatics do have a screw down crown, and this is number 47. Different reference number, different serial number, sorry, but number 47. I believe they are sequential in terms of how many they made. You have to excuse the noise, but I have to be completely honest and say I have no idea how many they made in total. I suspect not a huge amount more than this. Especially considering, as I said in the intro, they stopped production of any more units after what had already sold and was already in production when the Queen passed, which I believe was 2022, wasn't it? So yeah, that makes sense. But this one comes with the bracelet and the strap, and let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As I sort of rotate my wrist around, you'll see how those numerals play as well. Really nicely done. 38mm by 43mm lug to lug, only 11.5mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a champagne dial, one of his newer releases, a really, really cool one. This one with the open back, the Alcantara strap, 38mm manually wound. So let's take a closer look. Now for the Brunswick 38 champagne dial, which is this beautiful champagne gold sort of encrusted dial, as you can see if I can get that in focus. It really shimmers and has this really nice grainy texture, which I think is absolutely beautiful. Same indices and handset as the Jubilee we just saw, but because of the colour and texture of the dial, the contrast in every light is far more legible, and it still plays with the light as you rotate it around, as you can see, creating this really dynamic looking watch. Now these are the later generation of dials, meaning it just says Fizz, it no longer says Brunswick on the dial, and you have England stated at 6 o'clock. A nice touch and super clean and legible. Really nice case profile, as you'd expect with a cushion case of the 38mm Fizz, based on a watch I believe from 1927, but again all the details are on our website. A onion style crown, and this one has an exhibition case back right there, as you can see, and that's showcasing the manually wound ETA caliber 7001. This watch is from July 2022 with its box and paperwork, and it comes on its Alcantara strap with its sign buckle, which is absolutely lovely. Super nice condition, again very lightly worn. You'll see a couple of hairlines here and there, but nothing major at all. And the bracelet you saw on the Jubilee just now would also fit this reference, and it is available to purchase from Fizz directly. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, same proportions as what we just looked at with the Jubilee, and you can again see how dynamic Fizz dials are. This is 38mm by 43mm lug to lug, 11.5mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So endless options for this one, so go check it out on the website today. And then final Fizz on the table, a 2024 Brunswick 40mm, so this is the newer, larger size and the automatic, and this is the copper salmon dial. An absolutely incredible price for this, considering it was only bought in May 2024 and has hardly been worn. So let's take a closer look. Now for the Fizz Brunswick in 40mm, this is the newer reference with the automatic movement inside and a screw down crown, and no longer those hollowed out hands. Instead they are beautifully faceted, creating this very dynamic play with light, as you can see. Same with the second hand and the counterweight, which is that beautiful pipette. sector style dial, I guess you'd call it, with the two finishes, as you can see from the inner circle and the outer circle, and again those lovely applied Edwin numerals, Fears and England stated, and that is all super clean aesthetic. This is the reference BS24000A. And as we flip it over, again same case profile before we flip it over, screw down onion style crown, this time with the logo proudly executed on the crown, and this one still has its sticker on the case back right there. Inside, beating away powering this movement is an automatic Lejeune Perret caliber G101, and the specific model is from May 2024 with its box paperwork and its original strap, which is very nice and comfortable, with its signed buckle right there. And again, Fears have a bracelet that will fit this watch, so if you do want to acquire a bracelet, you certainly can do. But yeah, really clean, nice example, hardly worn to be honest, and again a nice saving on retail. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions, because obviously it differs from the 38mm we just looked at. So if you're after something a bit bigger than the 38mm, this is definitely the one to consider, because it is obviously bigger, screw down, crown, and automatic, so quite a few things different. 40mm by 46mm lug to lug, only 12mm on the thickness, so a marginal increase in thickness, and 20mm still on the lugs, so you can still switch and swap your standard straps from any of the Fears you own. So go check this one out on the website today. From there, let's go over to the two vintage watches I have left in the drop, considering two others had sold unfortunately, so my apologies. This is a 1966 Amiga Constellation automatic in the 33mm size, with one of the thinnest movements Amiga ever produced. So a really, really cool watch. Let's take a closer look. Now we have a really wonderful Amiga automatic Constellation. This is a chronometer spec model, obviously when it was first released out of factory, and this is a reference 167021 from circa 1966, dated via the serial number on the movement. You can see that really nice silver dial, black onyx figures and hands with tritium, as you can see. Just a really nice original example. Obviously some signs of age and wear are going to be expected, but this is a very honest one. Really nice case profile. So whilst it's 33mm, you have these very long straight lugs with nice chamfers, which really helps with wearability. Signed crown at 3 o'clock, and as we flip it over, you can see the observatory proudly stated on the case back right there. Very, very nice, clean and simple. Inside, beating away on this movement is a automatic Amiga caliber 712, which is one of Amiga's thinnest, and I think still might be thinnest movements they've ever made. So a very, very cool movement, and especially when you look at the side profile, this watch is incredibly thin. Not too dissimilar from the strap it is on. Now something to point out, this strap is the right size, but it's just a little tight, so there is a little bit of squeak. As you wear this watch in, that squeak will obviously go away. Original Amiga etched crystal on this one as well, which is a nice touch, because it's not always there. And obviously it goes without saying, this is watch only. When it has box and papers, we obviously state it, it's photographed, all that kind of stuff, so save yourself the time. Do check the listings if you're after box and papers on your vintage watches. We make sure it's all there, because obviously it makes a difference to the price. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, a very comfortable and very nice size. If you're into smaller watches, this is definitely one to consider, and if you're not typically a small watch person, I wouldn't sort of overlook this one, because it still wears incredibly well despite the size, thanks to those lugs. Now what you're looking at is 33mm by 39mm lug to lug, only 7mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lugs. It's a little awkward, but there are lots of options out there, so go check this one out on the website today. And the final vintage watch on the table, this is a favorite of mine. This is an Amiga SE Master automatic 34mm. I've called it a star dial because of how the dial has patinaed. This won't be for everyone, and that's completely okay, and it's from circa 1958. So let's take a close look. Now to my favorite, and I think one of the most affordable watches in this week's drop, a really gorgeous Amiga SE Master automatic calendar right there, with that dial that has developed this insane patina where it looks like gold speckles, and I've called it a starry dial because in certain lights it really does look like you're looking off into the distance of a starry night, and in others it sort of glows this goldy colour, almost caramel. It's very hard to describe, very hard to photograph, and very hard to sort of show in all of its glory. So this is definitely one, if you have the opportunity to book an appointment, I know I'm very limited right now, so I do apologize, but if you do get that opportunity, do take it with this watch. Alternatively, take the risk, buy it online. I'm sure you're going to absolutely love it. If not, we have a returns policy that you can see on the website. Now, in terms of how this sort of age and patina is developed, it's hard to say exactly. It could be multiple factors. It could have been water ingress many years ago, and it's obviously created this effect over time. It could just be the way the lacquer and the paint reacted over time. It could be humidity where it's been stored over the years. We just don't know. But again, it creates that allure, in my opinion, with vintage that I absolutely love. Obviously, it goes without saying with this one, wear and age are to be expected. I shouldn't have to say that, but you know, I better keep all bases covered. Nice Amiga applied logo at 12 o'clock. And this is a reference 2849-9-SC from circa 1958, dated via the serial number. Really nice solid case, as you can see. Chamfer still nice and visible in those fat lugs. Amiga crown at 3 o'clock. And as we flip it over, you're presented by a nice SE Master case back, and it does have an engraving around the edge which says from Mum, Dad and Derek. Thank you very much, Derek. And then the date on there, I believe, is the 5th of the 4th, 1960. So either this was purchased in 1960, a watch sat in a window for 2 years at a retailer wouldn't have been uncommon back in those days. And to be honest, it's not massively uncommon for certain watches and brands nowadays. But yeah, so very cool. Very cool to have that engraving. Obviously, we can have it taken out on request. I think it adds to the allure and story. Paired on a nice strap, sort of taupe colour. But yeah, just a really beautiful watch. Oh, and inside is an automatic Amiga caliber 503, a very early automatic Amiga movement. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. I'm a big fan of the patina on this one, and even still, just this reference in general I think is a really, really nice reference, massively underrated and still very affordable in the grand scheme of vintage watches. So this is 34mm by 41.5mm lug to lug, 12mm on the thickness and 18mm at the lug. So endless options for swapping this one out. So go check it out on the website today. From there over to a now discontinued Tag Heuer Autavia Blue chronometer. This is the 42mm dial, and as I say, now discontinued on a new strap. Really, really cool watch. So let's take a closer look. Now we have a discontinued Tag Heuer Autavia automatic chronometer in the 42mm with the beautiful blue dial. It's kind of interesting seeing Tag Heuer take a different take on the Autavia, which was more commonly a chronograph watch from back in the day, and we saw a similar thing from Breitling with the Navitimer. I think a few brands, especially at this period, tested out the market to see if the name could carry weight to different designs. Some purists absolutely despise that. Some people don't really care. To be honest, I think there's an argument for both, but the reality is if you want a vintage Autavia, you're getting a vintage Autavia. You're not going to buy this anyway. And if you want a modern, very cool looking, larger Tag Heuer, why not consider this one? It doesn't matter that it says Autavia at all. That's my take on it. That's my 2 pence. Let me know down in the comments what you think. But this is the reference WBE 5116.FC8266. Very long reference. Don't know why I bothered actually saying it. You can see the condition is very, very good. This has been worn a handful of times at most. Nice signed crown at 3 o'clock, which isn't screw down. A lot of people think it is. It isn't. Date at 6 o'clock on the dial. Nice gradient blue with a sapphire style bezel, which is ceramic, makes it look like an old bezel. As you flip it around, a nice nod to the aviation history of the Autavia with that case back. And inside is an automatic chronometer rated Tag Heuer caliber 5. This one's from December 2022 with its box and paperwork, its original strap and buckle, which is quick release. The way that works is you can see a little lever right there. You pull that down, and you can see it loosens that little lock, and then you just slide off and you can slide back on like so, and make sure you lock it back down and test it. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimension. And here we go, rested on my 7-inch wrist. I don't want to crease the straps too much, so I'm not fastening the watch, but you can see it's definitely no small watch. I would say you've got to be into your bigger watches for this one, but it's not unwearable. So again, if you want to give it a try, by all means. This is 42mm by 50mm lug to lug, only 12.5mm on the thickness, and an odd 21mm on the lug width, but there are options out there for that as well. Obviously with the quick release, you're going to want to ideally get the Tag Heuer straps. So go check this one out on the website today. Another English watch. As you can see, I try my best to get a lot of the English brands in, especially as a fan of them myself. So this is the Vertex M60 Aqualine, no date, on a bracelet with its full box papers, additional rubber strap, canvas strap, it's got everything. Sticker still on the clasp and sticker still on the case back. A really nice example. So let's take a closer look. Now we are on to Vertex with the M60 no date Aqualine, a really cool looking watch. And a different take from Vertex, obviously more known for its military Dirty Dozen and other watches of its past. They wanted to sort of take everything they've learned over the years and create a dive watch, and I think they've done a wonderful job. They've kept all the things we know and love of Vertex, like those insane 3D loom blocks for the indices and the numerals right there. Very robust bezel, big screw down crown, really sort of industrial style case, I guess you'd say, and a workhorse bracelet which is actually loomed, so Vertex there, and the logo is loomed so it will glow in the dark. Really cool. It still has stickers on. As you lift it open, stickers still present there, and it has a dive extension right there as well, which is nicely done. Still stickers on there even. Sticker on the case back, and you've got a nice sea lion emblem proudly stated. This is a reference M60ND, obviously for no date, and inside is an automatic Sellita SW300-1, and this watch is from March 2022 with its box, papers, spare link, Vertex rubber, Vertex strap. It has absolutely everything, and the box is a nice sturdy Pelican case, again only emphasizing the fact that this is a rugged tool watch, so you can definitely use it as such. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. Here we go. On my 7-inch wrist, you can see it wears incredibly well. It's obviously no small watch, but it definitely hugs the wrist nicely, so it gives a real robust feel on the wrist. This is 40mm by 49mm lug to lug, 14mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug's width, with quick release for the bracelet and straps, so nice and easy to swap around. So go check this one out on the website today. And from there over to a Christopher Ward. This is the C65 Aquitaine blue automatic in the 41mm. Really great watch. You can't go wrong with this. At the end of the day, a Christopher Ward, in my opinion, is some of the best bang per buck or value for money watches you can buy on the market today at retail. So when they become pre-owned, they're just even better. So let's take a closer look. Now on to a Christopher Ward, and I think we're a predominantly British brand, British watch brand drop this week. So I do apologise if that's not your thing. I absolutely love them, and this has to be the best value for money watch on the table today, I would say, and also just in general from Christopher Ward. This is the C65 Aquitaine blue in 41mm with that really nice vibrant blue dial, nice indices, Christopher Ward logo, trident still present on the counterweight of the second hand, nice little proper red down there, and the date at 6 o'clock. Again, you have this sapphire bezel, which really looks like an old Bakelite bezel, really nicely done and goes with the overall design. Sort of softens it a little bit, which is really nice on a sort of rugged dive watch, I would say. Screw down sign crown at 3 o'clock. Beautiful case profile as always. Christopher Ward cases are very nicely done and really well finished, especially for their price point. It comes on its 3-link bracelet, which has obviously been worn. There's some signs of wear, but nothing major. Push button clasp, which actually has the ratcheting glide adjust present right there, which is very convenient. Nice exhibition case back, showcasing an automatic Sellita SW200-1, and I won't bore you with the reference of this watch because it's incredibly long as always with Christopher Ward, but this one's from January 2024 with its box and paperwork ready to be purchased and enjoyed again. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. Here we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist, and these 41mm wear very well. They feel smaller, I would say, than the Vertex we just tried on, and that is a smaller watch by dimensions, whereas this just wears that bit better, I would say. It's probably due to the shorter lug to lug, but anyway, 41mm by 46.5mm lug to lug, only 12.5mm on the thickness, and that's hidden very well by the curved case itself, and 22mm on the lug width, with quick release on this bracelet. So go check it out on the website today. And the final watch on the table, a really nice UniMatic Messina Lab Blue Limited Edition U1-MLM, limited to 200 pieces. So let's take a closer look at that one. Now for UniMatic and Messina Lab Limited Edition, I believe this was the first one they've done, but they've done a few since then. This is the U1-MLM from circa 2020, and this one comes with its box, paperwork, and additional strap, as well as this very cool sprung strap, as you can see right there, with a interesting clasp escapement, which you can figure out nice and easy. I won't show you the case back right now, but you can go see it on the website. Nicely decorated case back, as you'd expect in my opinion from UniMatic. I think they do really nice designs, but this is limited to 200 total and is powered by a Seiko NH35A. Really nice matte blue dial with a matte blue aluminium bezel, which again really plays with the light, and I think is a really beautiful tone, especially contrasted against those really white indices and hands, almost a maxi style dial of old Rolexes where it's printed on the dial itself, no surround of the indices. Again, nice contrast. I think it works really well. Screw down crown at 3 o'clock, and that iconic, in my opinion iconic now, UniMatic case profile on these U1s. I think it's very nice and wears very well. Talking about that, let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist on this sprung loaded elastic strap. Very comfortable. This is 41.5mm by 49mm lug to lug, 13.5mm on the thickness, that's excluding the addition of the strap, and 22mm on the lug. So endless options for this one, and as I say, it does come with a spare strap in the box. So go check this one out on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls. This week's drop, what should have been 12 is now 9. Thank you very much for the purchases of watches, and a few in next week's drop have already gone as well. So be sure to be following on Instagram at Kibble Watches. You get to see all the watches coming soon before they do. You're able to purchase them, get all the extra information and everything like that before they ever make it to this point. So thank you all very much. I look forward to seeing you all again, hopefully next week, depending on how things go. And yeah, we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.